You're just an innocent kid living in a quiet little town called Derry, except for some reason children keep disappearing without a trace. Then you and your friends start seeing things that shouldn't even be possible, like human hands crawling out of a bathroom drain or lampshades made out of human skin. It doesn't take long before you realize you're dealing with an alien clown with evil powers. And guess what? You're on the menu. What would you do in a situation like that? This is the story of It. Welcome to Derry, the prequel series that takes place 27 years before the events of It Chapter 1. Today, we're breaking down what happens in the first episode, counting how many people became Clown Chow, and, of course, giving you the best survival tips for making it out alive after running into Pennywise. Before we start, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss episode 2 and smash that like while you're at it. The episode kicks off in winter, showing us the not-so-lovely town of Derry. Inside the local movie theater, we meet Matt, a kid who's into musicals. Yeah, I know, shocking, right? Oh, and he's also a fan of pacifiers, which drives his Aunt Mildred crazy. She tells him to knock it off with the noise. That's when the usher catches Matt sneaking in. It turns out it's his third time this week trying to see a movie without paying for a ticket. The little criminal hides behind a Western movie poster to avoid getting caught. The one who spots him is Ronnie, the daughter of Hank, who works at the theater. She decides to cover for Matt's sneaky little stunt and distracts the usher, giving our pacifier-loving outlaw a chance to make his escape. Apparently, Matt's got some family issues going on, since it's hinted that his dad uses him as a punching bag. That's why he's tempted to run away from Derry, which, in my opinion, is the best way to defeat Pennywise. I mean, the clown can't get you if you're a few zip codes away from his sewer. Trying to avoid both pneumonia and another beating, Matt hitches a ride with a family headed to Portland. He meets the pregnant mom, who already has 2 teenage kids about his age. Everything seems fine, until the oldest daughter opens a lunchbox full of rotten liver and practically shoves the stench of death in his face.
My turn.
Right then, the younger brother starts spelling out random words like Arnold, Schwarzenegger, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and strangulation. Totally normal road trip vibes, right? Matt starts realizing this family's a few fries short of a happy meal when they turn the car around and head straight back to Derry. He panics and begs them to let him out. The dad completely ignores him, so Matt grabs the steering wheel in desperation, but the man stops him cold. Then the mother suddenly goes into labor, but something's seriously wrong. There's way too much blood. At that point, Matt could have grabbed the ice skates from the trunk and smashed a window to escape. It's not even clear if he's really in a car or if this is all happening in his head, but still, worth a try. If he'd done that, he could have survived. Just like those idiots from the Losers Club 27 years later. But no, Matt's too nosy for his own good and insists on seeing the baby. Out of nowhere, a creepy baby bat hybrid pops out and starts flying around inside the car. If you look closely, the creature slams into Matt's window, cracking it. That would have been the perfect time to elbow his way out, but nope, he just freezes and ends up getting served as dinner for the flying baby. A few months later, we meet Leroy Hanlin, Mike's grandfather, who in the future will be the one to gather the Losers Club as adults to fight Pennywise. Leroy's a major in the Air Force who's just returned from the Korean War. He's welcomed by Officer Dick Halloran. Yeah, that Dick Halloran, the guy who later becomes the cook at the Overlook Hotel in The Shining. Major Easter egg right there. He's now stationed in Derry, home to one of the 6 most strategic military bases in the country. It's hinted that the military's working on a top secret project there, something I'll cover in the next episodes. We also meet Russo, another Air Force officer and Leroy's best friend. Leroy can't wait to see his wife, Charlotte, who's moving to Derry soon, but he'll have to stay in the barracks a little longer while he tests the new B-52 bomber models. He meets the maintenance crew, and everyone salutes him, except for Masters, who refuses to take orders from a black man. Bad timing for him, because General Shaw walks in right then and humiliates Masters for his disrespect, even threatening to have him arrested. Masters immediately freezes up and finally salutes Major Leroy. Watching the whole thing is Dick Halloran, who gives Leroy a strange look, like he can read his thoughts. And if you've seen my Shining video, you already know. That's exactly what he's he's doing. At Derry High School, we meet Lily, an unpopular girl who's constantly bullied. She opens her locker only to find it stuffed full of pickle jars. Lily's feeling pretty down, but she's comforted by Marge, a girl desperate to be popular and worried that her new glasses make her look like a nerd. Honestly, I don't think that's gonna be her biggest problem soon. We also meet two buddies named Teddy and Phil. Phil's the kind of kid who's obsessed with UFOs, full-on convinced that aliens are already living among us. He thinks all the extra air traffic at Derry's base means the military's dissecting little green men. Later, Teddy mentions that it's been 4 months since Matt disappeared, and admits he feels guilty for not being friends with the pacifier kid. Teddy believes Matt ran away because he didn't have any friends, but Phil disagrees, saying they were cool enough to go to his birthday party, even if Matt's mom totally bribed them with candy. Meanwhile, Lily's talking to her mom, who wants to visit her dad's grave. He died last year in an accident at the pickle factory where he worked. Lily feels guilty and refuses to go to the cemetery. Then she has a flashback, and we learn she and Matt were friends. The two sneaked into the town's overlook to watch the New Year's fireworks. Lily confesses she blames herself for her dad's death because she left her ring at the factory. He went back to get it, tried to help fix a jammed machine, and, well, the thing turned back on and swallowed him whole. If Lily hadn't lost that ring, her dad wouldn't have gone back, and wouldn't have ended up as a literal human pickle. Matt tells her it wasn't her fault, which cheers her up a little. They open some candy and find little toys inside. Lily gets a rocket, and Matt gets a turtle. Since Lily's not into astrophysics, she trades with him, saying turtles bring protection. And honestly, all I can think is, you should have kept the turtle, Matt. In Stephen King's universe, there's a celestial turtle named Maturin who once had such a bad stomachache that it literally puked out our universe. The same one where this story takes place. If you didn't know, Pennywise is Maturin's mortal enemy and considers the turtle lazy for just sleeping in its shell all the time. It's existed in the macroverse long before our universe and crash landed on Earth after devouring several planets. Anyway, Matt tries to kiss Lily, but she's not feeling it and basically shoos him away.
What an idiot!
Back in the present, Lily hears Matt's voice calling for help from her bathroom drain, along with a distorted song sung by him and other voices. She freaks out and tells him to follow her voice, until two rotting fingers pop out of the drain, and she practically screams herself inside out. The next day, Lily tells Marge what happened, but Marge doesn't believe a word. She says she wants to be friends, but Lily needs to drop the mental hospital talk. Since nobody listens, Lily turns to Phil and Teddy, the two kids Matt had lied about being friends with. Phil may believe in lizard people invading Derry, but even he doesn't buy Lily's story. Teddy's a little more shaken, but ends up siding with Phil. Meanwhile, we see General Shaw checking in on Leroy, asking if he's okay after being wounded in the war. Leroy says he left Korea without finishing his mission, and the general tells him he'll get another chance by piloting the new Air Force bombers. That night, we see Teddy having dinner with his family. He's Jewish, and his dad's the town rabbi. If you notice the resemblance to young Stan from It Chapter 1, that's because Teddy is actually his uncle. Teddy asks his dad if he believes someone could be kidnapping kids and keeping them underground. The rabbi replies that their ancestors survived the Holocaust, and that after hearing how Nazis used human skin to make lampshades, he believes anything's possible. He then tells Teddy to stop imagining some lunatic hiding under Derry and sends him to bed. Yeah, about that, not happening. Suddenly, Teddy's lamp comes to life, covered in sewn together human faces. Safe to say, the kid's not sleeping for the rest of his life.
See you in your dreams.
His brother, Stan's future dad, opens the door and mocks him, saying he can't believe he's related to such a scaredy cat. That possessed lamp is all it takes for Teddy to believe Lily. He and Phil meet up with her to start investigating what the hell is going on in that cursed town. Knowing the police won't believe any of this supernatural nonsense, the dumb trio heads to the library. Phil's stuck babysitting his little sister since their parents are out of town. Lily and the gang dig through old newspapers and find out the last person Matt talked to before disappearing was Ronnie, so the Fantastic Four goes to question her. But Ronnie says she's already told the cops everything and just wants to move on. She kicks them out immediately until Phil mentions that it makes no sense for Matt's voice to come from the sewer pipes. Then, suddenly, Eventually, Ronnie changes her tune. She asks exactly what Lily heard. Lily explains there was music playing down in the drain the night she heard Matt calling for help. Ronnie admits she also heard music coming from the theater's pipes, children laughing and calling her name. The scene then cuts to Leroy napping in the barracks when 3 masked men ambush him. One demands that he hand over the technical details of the new aircraft and threatens to shoot him if he refuses. But Leroy's not about to betray his country. He tells the masked guy to shove it where the sun doesn't shine. Just when Leroy's about to meet his maker, Russo bursts into the room and helps him beat the living crap out of the 3 masked idiots, who run off with their tails between their legs. In the final scene, Ronnie swipes her dad's keys to the movie theater and sneaks inside with her new friends. She says she's heard that same creepy song Matt sang from the bathroom drain and decides to play the musical film from the beginning of the episode. Then, the group sees Matt inside the opening scene, carrying something in his arms. Somehow, the boy can see them from the movie screen and starts sobbing, saying they never really cared about him. Meanwhile, Ronnie, up in the projection booth, can also see this whole bizarre thing happening. Matt suddenly grins like Pennywise and throws the bundle toward the screen. That's when the baby bat creature bursts out and starts hunting the teens inside the theater. That moment, they should have crawled out under the seats. Plenty of space for that. Easy escape, but only Lily does it, which gives her a front row seat to watch Teddy get lifted into the air and shredded to pieces in seconds.
A great success.
Phil's next, but seriously, what did you expect from a guy who decides to run on top of the seats? Genius move. He's completely exposed, and of course the monster snatches him instantly. Lily tries to grab Susie, Phil's little sister, but the girl's too slow, and the creature devours her without hesitation. Ronnie rushes into the theater to save Lily, yanks her out just in time, and locks the door behind them. When she asks what happened inside, Lily can only let out a hysterical scream. Welcome to Derry definitely started off strong, earning great reviews from both critics and fans. I loved how bold the show was, keeping the same violent tone as the movies, and even killing off well-developed characters you'd actually grown attached to. On the downside, the first episode's pacing could have focused more on the younger characters instead of splitting time with Leroy. He could have easily been saved for episode 2. That uneven rhythm threw things off a little for me, but overall, it's a solid start, especially with that brutal opening scene. So, my final rating for episode 1, 8 out of 10. Without further ado, let's wrap it up with the kill count. The total number of kill in the first show's episode was 4, and the body bag award goes to Teddy. I hope you liked the video, see you on the next one, and bye!